is a bigger outreach into the community. It's such a wonderful venue that we have there. It's the best in the country. And so we've developed a number of programs as far as on the canoe kayak side. We've got the Richardson Racing League, which is basically our middle school racing program that happens in the spring and the fall. And children from the 5th grade up until about the 9th grade all can compete, learn. I mean, this is a beginner through intermediate kind of event. We also have adult learn to kayak. We have programs from everybody from 6 to 60.
So there really is something for everyone out there. Let's go back to the Richardson Racing League, because fall, believe it or not, as we stand in the heat these days, but fall is just around the corner. Right. So a great time for kids to get out on the lake, and we all know they need to get out of the house and out of the video games and the texting and get some sunshine, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the different teams practice on different days. We have 2 races for that particular program, one kind of midway so they can get acclimated to how a race actually works, and then we have a regatta at the end of the program, and that's actually starting right now. So if anybody's interested, they can call the boathouse.
Okay, go ahead and give us that telephone number.
It's 770-287-7888.
What about, we hear so much about the venue and the athletes that are going on to the world level. Bring us up to date on some of them.
Well, we've had a good year as far as our athletes making the national teams this year. We've got 20 Lanier athletes that have made the 3 national teams that will represent the U.S. in world competition. We had 9 that went to what we call the Junior World Championship. That's basically 16 and 17-year-olds. And we have 7 that last week participated in the Senior World Championship, and those events were in Moscow and Nova Scotia respectively. And then next month we've got 4 of our athletes that made the Marathon World Championship team, so they'll be in Portugal representing the U.S.
And I think that sometimes we have no idea, as we stand in downtown Gainesville, we have no idea just how wonderful, or maybe we do, how wonderful the events are that are taking place at the lake, and that we've grown these kind of, international athletes out there.
Exactly.
Gene, certainly you're coming to Gainesville from Atlanta and talking about that this is such a great venue for you. What's the future of the Dragon Boat Festival?
Well, this is a sport that keeps growing, so we're certainly hope that we can keep growing it right here. As Lauren was saying earlier, that is truly a world-class facility. But another one of the reasons that we're still up here is because the world-class volunteers that help us put this thing on too. But we continually see growth. The first year we had this festival, we had a total of 6 teams that entered. Last year we had over 50. And this year, while we're having some economic problems, and you'd expect a downturn, I think we're going to stay about level, on par. We might not grow, but I don't see any decline in what we'll be doing. So, we'll continue the march, and we won't leave this facility as long as it's there, and LCKC will have us.
Well, you just bring as many thousands of people here as you want to. Lauren, real quick, if someone wants to volunteer for the Dragon Boat Festival, should they just give you a call at the boathouse?
Absolutely, they can do that, or check the website at www.lckc.org.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Looking forward to all the great times out on Lake Lanier.
No, thanks for having us.
Gene Hanratty from Atlanta, Georgia, here for the Dragon Boat Festival, and of course Lauren Collins, the 2009 president of Lanier Canoe Kayak Club. Glad to have them in town, and certainly always glad to have the events that are taking place at the venue. Well, the last time we were here at Good Morning Gainesville, I was over on the other corner of the square there and just kind of looked down in the grass and saw all kinds of cigarette butts, and just kind of sent me into a downward spiral, and I thought, what can we do about it? We have got to keep our square clean, and certainly our community clean, and who better to talk to us about that this morning than Cindy Reed from Keep Hall Beautiful.
Good morning.
Good morning, glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not blaming you because you put your receptacles out in the last couple of years, so we do have a place for those cigarette butts, don't we?
We do. A couple of years ago, a group from Keep Paul Beautiful applied for a grant from Keep America Beautiful to place receptacles around the square, around the Mountain Center and the Civic Center to try to address some of the cigarette butts on the ground.
Well, certainly all it takes is just to get up and walk over and dispose of your cigarette butt properly. So we hope that people will look around the square and see those are here. And we're getting a few raindrops this morning. But Cindy, we really do. We have such a beautiful community. We just talked about what is available out at Lake Lanier in our rowing venue. We have so much to be proud of and so much to keep clean too.
We really do, and everybody needs to do their part. There's less and less funding actually for litter pickups. The state has cut their program for the state roads, so we really all need to do our part to not litter in the first place.
You and I were talking earlier, you told me the state actually has a new slogan, a new campaign theme this year.
Yes, about recycling actually, and it's I don't recycle. And the first time I wore my I don't recycle t-shirt, I got some people who were pretty irate, and that's what it's meant to do. The website is, you gotta be kidding. And so it just is a way for people to start talking about, why don't you recycle? Well, I really do, and this is why.
Well, certainly everyone who watches this show knows that I am certainly just a big fan of recycling. I've seen how it works. And speaking of recycling, Gainesville High School football is about to get underway, and I know that Dan Owen from our Public Works Department takes the recycling trailer to all the football games and puts out the canisters so that you can throw away your plastic bottles and your cans.
Right, and that was a great program last year. Some of the teachers really took it on, got behind it, got the kids excited. The cheerleaders were all, pumping people up about recycling, and we got a lot of materials that would have been landfills. So that was great to get those out of the waste stream.
Well, certainly it is. It's just there again. All you have to do is get up and put it in the proper bin, and probably at the football stadium too. It's better to leave it behind so that when they do pick up, they can put it in recycling than to just throw it in the garbage can. Another thing, talking about recycling, I know you have one of those great electronic recycling events coming up.
We do on August 29th down at Gainesville College. We're working with Gainesville College and some of their students down there to do an electronic recycling event from 9 to 1 on the 29th, and we'll be taking things like computers, printers, monitors, televisions. There is a charge for televisions because we have to pay to do the televisions.
And do you know what the charge is?
The charge is going to be $10 per
Okay.
television. So, hopefully people will be able to recycle them that day.
Well, certainly it's worth it, and all that electronic equipment, it becomes out of date so quickly. So I know there are lots of you out there who have those computers that are just kind of sitting in the closet. So now is a great time to recycle, and then hopefully they truly are recycled and people can use other parts from them.
They are. We work with Creative Recycling, and they have been in business for a long time. We've actually toured their facility. We know how they work. We know it's being done properly, so we do work with them. And we are also going to have document destruction there that day doing mobile shredding. So if you have sensitive documents, you can take those out there and have those shredded that day.
I have a pack rat friend. I hope she doesn't mind if I say that. I know she used your service the last time you were over at the farmer's market, so she took, you don't need to keep your checks from 1992, I'm telling you. So certainly document destruction is always important as well, and people just seem to feel like it's handled safely.
Right.
So when you all take care of it. Certainly on the city website, we try to keep up to date on the cleanups that are taking place in the community. That is a way for the community to get involved in this effort to keep it clean.
It is. We do monthly cleanups around the county and in the city every month.